Hello traders, Rich here, and here's a quick but detailed update on EURGBP. This time is going to be a little bit different as I don't have any levels on my chart. I decided to make the analysis together for you to learn how to make the analysis next time by yourself. So as usual, I'll try to make it as educational as possible, so make sure to watch it till the end. And of course, try to apply it on your next chart. And as usual, if you like video analysis, let me know in the comments to keep them coming. So first of all, on daily and weekly time frames, we start by drawing our key rejection levels or zones, right? So we want to know where we stand in the market. So for now, let's focus on this area, right? Since price is currently around here. So previously we had this support and resistance. And the reason why I call it support and resistance is because it's acting as support and resistance at the same time. So for example, here it was acting as a resistance, then price broke it upward. It's now acting as support, right? Then price broke it downward, resistance, broke it upward again, support, and so on. You've got the idea. And here resistance, broke it upward, now support, and here we can see it was acting as support and support. So price now broke it downward. So it's now what? Acting as resistance. So as price approaches it again, we'll be looking for sell setups, right? And as usual, as you can clearly see, price can undershoot or overshoot our level. So we don't treat it as a level. As you can clearly see here, price overshoot it, then traded higher. Price overshoot it, traded higher, and so on. And around here, price undershoot it, and here as well. So that's why we treat our support and resistance as zones on our charts and not laser lines. So you should treat it like this, right? But because to make it clearer for now, let's keep it as a level. So next, that's our upper bound of the current price now. We want to know where is the lower bound, right? So here we go. We do have one here, which is a very, very strong one. We can make it a little bit higher or lower to test the upper swings or lower swings. So this entire area is a strong key rejection area. So we can make it like this, but we know that it's acting as a whole zone. Here we go. So as you can clearly see, it was acting as resistance here, then support, support again and again and again, right? Then price broke it downward. Now it's acting as resistance, then upward, then price broke it downward. It was acting as resistance. Here we go. Then broke it upward, support again, and price is now retesting it. So what we expect? We expect a rejection from here, right? That's why we will be looking for buy setups, unless as usual, as you can see here, price breaks it upward. In this case, price will break it downward and it will become a resistance. But first, we'll be looking for buy setups. And we can't really know if price will reject it or break it. That's why we'll be looking. We don't buy immediately around resistance. First of all, why? Because price, if you buy here, price can still go down, hit your stop loss, and to trade higher to get more liquidity. So we don't buy immediately around support. We look for extra confirmation and triggers, and that's what we are going to do here. Unless, as usual, price continue to trade lower, don't provide us with a buy opportunity, trade slower, break our potential support for it to become a potential resistance. In this case, we'll be looking for sell setups on C-test. So let's see the previous drawings. Here we go. And let's keep this one as an area, right? So you have two options. Either keep it as a level and treat it as a zone, or draw two levels. For example, like this and this, right? Here we go, we can make it a bit higher. Anyway, it doesn't really matter how you draw it, as you are going to treat this entire zone as a support, right? So here we have a support, and here we have our resistance, and of course you can also draw it. That's why you see always two levels on my chart, and I always like to change the color here. For example, let's make this one in blue, and the lower one, keep it in green. So long story short, from daily time frame, we already know when we send the market, we know that price is currently approaching a support. And of course, if price breaks it downward, where would be our next support? It's very, very, very clear here. We can see that we already have a demand zone and we also have a support. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. And of course, it's an entire zone. So anyway, let's draw it, even though price is now still far away from it. Here we go. So we've got a support area here. Let's make this one, for example, in purple. Yes, let's do it. Here we go. Now things are getting clearer, right? And yes, we do have one here. Very, very strong one. 1, 2, and 3. And of course, it's an entire zone. And you can make it, let's say, in what colors do we have? Red, yes. Right, so if price is sitting inside this floor, we'll be looking for buy here and sell here. Now if price breaks it downward, right, then our support would become resistance, just like here, and we'll be looking for sell setups. So now from daily time frame, we know that price is approaching a support. That's why we'll zoom into lower time frames and try to find buy setups, right? But let's see. Here we go. Here's our entire zone. So price can still trade lower and lower and lower. Dive inside the zone before rejecting it upward, or can still reject it from here. We can't really know. But since it's approaching a support, we are looking for buy setups. So first of all, from daily time frame, from H1 time frame, sorry, we can clearly see that we already have this channel. Let's make it an orange because we already have blue and green here, right? And here we go. So we've got this channel and we make an offset. We also have to make an offset, and this one would be acting as an here we go, as an oversold area in this case. So we know that when price gets here, we will not buy immediately, of course, but we know that it would act as an overextended. As you can see, overextended, retest, corrective phase. Impulse, overextended, so now we are expecting a corrective phase, and then another impulse, right? Then we'll be looking for buy around here, a short-term buy, and then here we'll be waiting for a new swing to form, and then we'll enter buy on spike upward, right? So this one is for our full reversal, but for now we know that EURGBP is trading inside this channel. So we'll be looking for buy since it's around support, we'll be looking for buy here to catch the next impulse for the short term, and then as it approaches our support again, of course it can still dive in, right? We'll be looking for buy setups around this area to catch this impulse, and then we'll be entering buy on the last swing high, break upward to catch the full reversal. And of course, in this case, as price approaches this resistance, we'll be looking for what? For sell setups. Unless, as usual, price breaks it upward, here we go, we'll be looking for buy setups. So that's it, long story short. Now, since price is around a support and an oversold area, just like here, we'll be looking, sorry, for short-term buy setups, right? So we zoom into lower time frames and try to find the short-term buy setup. Here we go. If we zoom into M30 time frame, we can see that we can already draw a trend line. It's a potential trend line. It's only connecting two swings. And we know that for our trend line to be valid, it has to be connecting at least three swings. That's why you see me drawing this projection. That I'm waiting for a third swing to form around it to consider it valid, and then I will enter buy on to break upward, right? Here we go. And I always like to make the offset, here we go, to have like a channel. So EURGBP is trading inside this big channel, and now it's in the end of the impulse phase. That's why we are looking to catch the next small corrective phase. Meanwhile, we can't really be sure, as EURGBP can still trade lower and lower and lower, right? But since it's approaching a very interesting rejection support area in this case, we are looking for buy setups. We don't want to buy a bearish market, right? We always try to we always wait for the buyers to prove to us that they are taking over. And how do they do that? By breaking above the last high. As you can see, this one is not able to break above the previous high. That's why for now we'll be waiting for price to break above the previous high. And if price breaks it now, it's better not to enter because it would be very close to the upper. the upper overall trend, which this one acts as a non-horizontal resistance. That's why I wanted to dive in inside the support to give us some room for our buy to run, right? And our take profit as usual will be around this area, as we expect a rejection from here, and from here as well we'll be looking for buy setups to hold like a double bottom pattern or like a trend line, head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulders, and so on. But for now, let's focus on the price step by step. And here we go. For now, what I would like to see, and it doesn't really matter what I'd like to see, the market can still do whatever it wants, right? But what I would like to see for my conditions to be met is we want a new swing high to form. We can't really know if it will form around here, here, or here, right? As it isn't formed yet. But what we care about is we want a third swing to form around our upper trend line for it to be considered valid, and only then we'll enter buy on to break upward. So here we go, right? Let's say price will go down till around here, then forms this swing. Then of course, let me zoom in. We'll enter buy on speak upward. Here we go. Let me fix it. And that's what I will be waiting for. Buy, stop loss, and 2 to 1 risk to reward ratio, which would be around our upper, here we go, which would be around our upper orange trend line. Long story short. So, so in brief, UGP is approaching a support, but the support is very huge. So we can't really know from where it will reject the support. As mentioned here, this is our support from daily. We'll be looking for buy setups now, knowing that EURGBP can still dive in before going up. That's why we always wait for extra confirmation, as we can't really know from where it will reverse. And as usual, don't try to catch the exact tops and bottoms, for those who already bought may suffer from this drawdown before price goes up, right? Just like here, if you sold here, price can still go up, form a setup, and then go down. Right? Or even price can still take it upward entirely for it to become a support, and you know the rest of the story, right? So that's it basically on Euro GBP. Let me fix it again. And here we go. And yes, you know that I would put a trigger here, which is still our potential trigger, right? Because nothing is confirmed yet. And meanwhile, until the buy is activated, EURGBP would be overall bearish, and that's how you know. So if you are holding a sell, you know that EURGBP would be overall bearish until price breaks above the previous swing high. Right, so we're waiting for this one to form. This is our trigger, and as usual you see me make like this one. Here we go. So daily support, and yes, and basically that's it. Now you know how I come up with my analysis, and of course I still have many rules, but I try to make it as simple as possible for now, so you can start with something and you can develop your trading plan accordingly. Best of luck. As usual, if you like the analysis, let me know in the comments. And of course, let me know if you want me to analyze any pair next, just like we did here. We will open the chart from scratch and we will go over it together. Best of luck, and I'll see you on the next one.